At this point, I will turn it over to Cam for the rest of the meeting
All right.
to talk about the challenges.
All right. Yes.
Cam, everyone.
16 years ago, 2003, some of us were lamenting the lack of robot building activity in the club, and we had line following contests and maze busting contests and stuff like that. And we observed that the building activity seemed to spike with contests, but contests always, had set up stages that you had to set up, and people win, people lose, and somebody always didn't feel right about it. So we met at a library at the time, and what we had was there were tables all over, and the idea was that we wanted to do tabletop soccer, which is non-trivial, and so we knew that we had all these robots in the club, so we thought about, well, we would, looking at my map over here, can we get video out on the map here, Jordan? We thought, well, we'll put nets around the table or something like that, but no, that would be set up. That's when it was born, the TableBot. A TableBot is a robot that survives, lives, and plays on the table or pays the price. And so how do you get there? We decided we'd do it in phases. Phase 1 is to simply go from one end of the table to the other and back. Phase 2 is to push a block off the edge, and Phase 3 is to move a block into the shoebox mounted at the end of the table. I'll tell you, I've seen some awful big shoeboxes over the years. Anyways, we don't specify the size of the robot, the color of the table or anything. It's not a contest, it's a show. And it's about you showing us, your robot, and let's having some fun. The first part of this challenge meeting is going to be the table. Let me lay it out. We'll have the TableBot challenge, we'll have the FloorBot challenge, we'll have the ArmBot challenge, we'll have the amazing line maze challenge, and then we're going to have a bit of a break. It's intermission, if you will. It's Robot Dance Party. We'll play some robot music. Any robots that can move and groove to the sound, and that'll be kind of like a random access. We'll reconvene for what I consider to be the most important part of the meeting, and that is run what you've brung. These are robots that don't fit into the categories. Okay, this is your own personal homebrewed robot, and this is what we're made of here. And so the robots that don't fit into these categories will be last. So you want to stick around. Let's begin with the TableBot challenge. Danny Watson, can you come up? Danny's an instructor. He teaches robotics. And I'm going to get him to host the TableBot challenge, and we'll see what happens.
Who knows? Anything.
Yeah. Now this is for specifically TableBots. That would be robots that do the TableBot challenge, phase 1, 2, or 3. Take it away, Danny.
Test.
Uh-oh. The red one's on.
Test.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yep.
So, tabletop challenge, you get a robot and you go from one end of the table to the other and back again, and that's all you need to do. Tell us your name and talk about the robot a little bit. Does the robot have a name?
Yeah.
This might be hot now. Try it.
Testing. So,
Two mics.
Two mics. Two mics enter, one mic leaves. No. Okay. So my name is Ralph. A lot of you know me. And I'm one of several Ralphs in the club. It is a robotics club after all. And so this is
one hit, Ralph.
well, this is Bile. He's my bot. Bile's the first of the Digesticons. It's a new series of bots I'm making. And I think I don't have to skip over this gap, right? I can just start over down on this table out here, right?
No, yeah, you have to skip over the gap.
Okay.
That's phase 4.
I'll probably, I think this will work okay. So anyway, why don't I start with level 1 and see how that goes, and then if he survives, we'll move on to level 2 and stuff. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. Fingers crossed.
What's your robot's name, Ralph?
Bile?
Oh, we went over that, didn't we?
Yeah. I'll say it again though, so I'm happy to do it. So he's using a an interesting approach. You notice he doesn't have sensors out on the ends of sticks or anything to keep him from falling off the table. He uses this little scanning thing with the LiDAR to do that. And that's new from when I did this last year. Level 1. Oh, come on. Right, yeah. All right, let's see. Now the fun begins. Okay.
You do, oh yeah, okay, cool.
Level 2, here we go.
Walk.
See what happens. You notice I just put it randomly anywhere. And we'll see what happens. So he's got these little LEDs that tell him what he sees or doesn't see with the Pixie Cam. He uses a Pixie Cam in the front to detect color blobs. And the blue LED comes on, blue for block. He detected the block. Hey, cool. And he's supposed to push it off the end of the table. Uh-oh. Code bug, right? It's got to be a code bug, right? Darn it. Well, oh, look, well, see, manual intervention is not allowed, but anyway, I guess he's going to finish
What
up.
do you mean not allowed? It's not done.
Well, yeah, you see a lot of that, but it's technically, shoot, it was working 5 minutes ago, too. It's the darndest thing.
Can't put everything.
Well, I can try one more time, or I can move on to level 3, but let's try it one more time. And then I can get this thing. This is my shoebox for level 3. We'll see how that goes.
Is that an actual shoebox?
Well, it's, what is it actually? I don't know what it is actually. It's a something. Land O'Lakes, oh, he missed. Oh, darn. It was working this morning, I swear to God. At least he's got a thing with his turning around, doesn't he? He gets stuck in some kind of loop. I thought I had that fixed.
Level 2 have to come back?
Huh?
Level 2 have to come back?
No.
Just have to push it up.
I thought he did, but I don't know. I could
Friend
be
Michael
wrong.
Wimble there.
Maybe I'm making it harder than it needs to be. I don't know.
Done, man.
Yeah, well, if that's it, then I'll move on to level 3.
Yeah, I don't recall it having to return.
No.
On level 2? Oh, okay.
Just push it off the edge.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's not a contest.
Well, let's see.
It's not a contest.
And then there's that. I'm going to put this down for a second.
Put this up here.
Okay, we'll try level 3, see how it goes. Just having trouble with level 2. Sad.
For those of you in the back, he is now taping the box
Just for security purposes.
with blue tape. Oh, and something I can see that probably most of you can't. Oh, maybe you're going to go over it.
Well, I'm using the Pixie Cam to see stuff, to detect the goal in the block, so I put a red piece of, a cardboard box inside the goal, so you can detect that in theory and see that the goal is here. And he didn't. No lighting in here, so that's one of the things with the Pixie Cam. It's a little sensitive to lighting. Darn.
But he is putting nothing in the box.
Yeah. And that's not going to work out real well. Well, we got level 1 though.
Try it again.
You got level 1, level 2.
Buddy, you got level 2.
Oh yeah, if I don't have to come back, I guess I got level 2. Yeah.
Shine your camera light on it.
You put some extra light on the subject.
It does a really good job of getting really close to the block and then not touching it.
Yeah, and then not picking it up. Yeah.
Level 2B.
You leave the obstacle avoidance code in?
He's pretty good about staying on the table, but he's looking for the block right now. He's not finding it. So, darn. Well.
1 and 2.
Yeah, got 1, and I guess I got 2, so that's cool. All right, well, thank you very much, and we'll keep working.
So I guess, Camp, you're going to go next?
Well, yeah, I've got a old table bot named Plug Bug, and he'll do phase 1. Actually, I can do phase 2.5 also.
Can you do phase floor?
That's phase 4, yeah. Phase 4 is falling off the table and still able to function. You can actually pass phase 4 before you pass phase 1 and 2 and 3,
Which is normal development.
So I've got a little ultrasonic sensor there. When he senses an obstacle, he'll stop. So that's kind of the first step in detecting it. We're easily amused. Andy Watkins, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that's all I got. Is that Mark Johnston up there?
It is a close facsimile too. I have a little bot here called Espresso Bot, and it's based on the ESP32, so it didn't take a lot of time figuring out a name for that one. Has a neat little display on it, a little TFT color display, and it shows, I'm going to do it so that at least I know it's not shining in the eyes of the our camera operator in the back. I'm not sure about our own video. Anyway, it's got an ESP32 board on it that I did, and has a accelerometer and environmental sensor and some stuff like that, PWM outputs and so forth. And then it has PWM control and to the motors themselves. And then in the front here, which is kind of nifty, these are the ST microcomputer time of flight sensors. They give you a pretty good measurement in units of millimeters, up to about a meter, or they claim 2 meters, but up to a meter. So I got them angled, one straight, one to the right, one to the left. We'll see those happen a little bit later. Then I'm using those for down sensors as well. And I think I have some false readings that I'm not filtering out. So we'll see how well the demo goes tonight. But I think what I might do is, I left on this avoidance mode code in there, which now in hindsight I should have taken off for phase 1. Because what happens is if I get a false reading, it'll try to avoid something that's not there. So let's see how well it does. Don't want anything to be actually there. Then I control the bot and tell it which mode I want it to be in with the accelerometer. So I'll hold it sideways, and then in the readout it'll say that it's in just basic, table bot type mode, and I sped it up a little bit, believe it or not. Last time I brought it here, it was so incredibly slow. About 2/3 of the people fell asleep before it got the other side of the table. So this time, hopefully, it'll be a little bit better. And hey, let's see if it passes phase 4. All right. Now, I wasn't expecting that because that particular mode it doesn't seem to have grief with very much. I'll start it halfway over here so we don't have to painfully wait for it again.
That was quite the thud. I like the display that it has on it.
It's a neat little TFT display. They're actually pretty inexpensive. Hey, phase 4. All right, or phase 4 as we say sometimes.
The display is still working too.
Yeah, that's odd. So I've got a little display readout which you can't see on the camera, but I should have watched that. No, look at that. There it goes. Yeah, I saw him. Okay. So it just does not want to stay on the table. So what we're going to do is I have some other things to show. So we're going to go this way across the table because that's one of the little tricks we play here. And then you can see the display, and the display has 3 range sensors on the front, and you'll see them as bar graphs on this display. So if you can see it on the camera, I don't want to put something in front of it right now because that's what I'm going to do in just a moment here with the other one. What the heck? All right, it's not even going to pass number 1 here. Maybe we'll try for yet another mode it has, which is kind of fun.
The 4th mode?
Yeah, it did phase floor already. Let's see if I can do this with one hand or not. I'm going to see if I can get it, it's the 50th anniversary of the astronauts on the moon, so therefore astronaut on the moon is there. He didn't stay on the moon, he came back. And let's see, that is, that's this. I just have to remember which way to tilt it to get which mode. So hopefully it'll get near this guy and turn around him, drive a little bit, And this is not actually one of our phases, but it's a cute little trick he does because he couldn't even stay on the table. I figure he has to do something well.
Yeah. It's not entertaining.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to go for right to phase 2. And I ended up taking some code out and making it so that when it finally knows that it pushed the thing off the table, it turns around. Well, when I get a false reading, it turns around without even pushing it off the table. So we'll see. But it's cute. If my luck is holding out, which it's not so far, we'll see.
Triple down.
Oh, I gotta start it not pointing at it because what I want it to do here, oh, it's in table, but I didn't hold it all the way.
Little known fact, robots
Oh, that's on the edge.
don't have feelings. Yet.
Table. Okay, finally got it to be in seeking mode. And it's searching for something over there.
But they do know when they're on display.
No, it actually says seek mode, but for some reason it ran off, and see, it keeps thinking it's seeing something off in that direction.
What are you using to detect?
So these are the time of flight sensors, but I can see by the display as occasionally I'll get one just pop up to a close distance, which then it thinks something's there, and I don't, all it does after that is try to stay towards it. I'm going to try one more time, then I'm not going to bore you anymore. By the way, this was only working about half the time at home, I'm not going to lie. It was not working all the time at home.
Should have videotaped it.
So it's funny you should say that. At mark-toys.com, I have FiddlerBot that has image recognition of fiducial patterns, and it does all 3 phases on a video, and I didn't doctor it, I swear. So this little bot is like a little diversion of a cute little ESP32 board that I also can read about on mark-toys.com. And I don't know, something has gone wrong to this puppy. It's not being happy.
Mark hyphen.
So I think this is it. Last call. Yes?
One last call.
Last call.
I was just saying your
Oh.
website name. Mark hyphen toys, mark dash toys, mark
Yeah.
minus
Oh,
toys.
yeah, mark-toys.com. There's actually a large number of projects and a lot of information for hobbyists. If you can see that, I get a shameless plug here.
No one can see that.
Well, almost. I'm waiting for the camera. There it is. Shameless plug. There's nothing for sale. It's just stuff. You can read about all kinds of fun projects besides this. And some of the other ones actually work.
Wow, boy.
Well, that was a huge failure, but oh well. We gotta try.